Hi, my name is Saranam. I'm a spiritual healer in Mount Shasta, California. And in this video, I'd like to give you a few tips about clearing cords in your energy field. Just so you understand, a cord is basically an energetic structure, and it forms naturally between people quite often. The most obvious example is a mother and her newborn child. There's always a cord. They're a heart cord from the mother to the child, and that's a perfect example of a reciprocal cord, because although the mother is giving love and nurturing to the child through the cord, and you might say energy is being drained out of her, the child is also returning love to the mother, and so there's a reciprocal relationship, and that's a perfect example of a healthy cord. Cords like that often form between lovers or people in close relationship, heart cords, as well as cords in the sacral, the lower abdominal area. But many times these cords persist after the relationship is over. People feel burdened by them. They still feel energy being drained from them. So I just want to give you a few techniques to clear cords like that, cords with other individuals who are living. There also can be cords with deceased individuals or other beings or entities that are not in physical form. Those, depending on the being, can sometimes be more onerous or feel even more draining. And then there's a third classification of cords with beings who rarely, if ever, incarnate, and are, because of their nature, largely parasitic. And so those cords you definitely want to clear. They're always draining, and sometimes they feel like kind of like a living being. They have a sense of life to them. Sometimes they feel more artificial or technological, like a probe or a device. In any case, all of those things are connected to beings at some remote location, if not in the immediate proximity, and they can all be released in the same way with these techniques I'm going to show you. With all those draining cords in particular, the parasitic type of cords, the fundamental thing to remember is that a cord like that can only attach to, you might say, a similar energy in your energetic field. So let's say a certain chakra, like your heart chakra, has become contracted out of fear and trauma. Well, then a chakra that would normally be, out to here, full size, becomes, very small, and you get this area kind of around the rim of the chakra where there's like kind of fear-based energy and energy structures that people create unconsciously. That's what these draining cords will attach to, is the resonant energy, something that also feels fear-based, or shame or guilt. Those are other emotions that cause contraction of the main part of the chakra, and allow a cord to attach around basically the unused portion of the chakra. So the basic technique for clearing these cords is to open your crown chakra to the divine light that you can feel flowing through there. A good technique, as I mentioned in my other videos, is to, from your heart, feel as much love as you can in your heart and send it up through your crown chakra, through the top of your head, right to the sun. Because the sun is a living being, but much larger than we are, and directly connected to the source, the divine source. So that's a good tangible way to make that connection with the divine source. And then you can use your breath to draw in that divine light on the in-breath, and then bring it to, let's say, the heart chakra, if that's the affected chakra. And then with each out-breath, you can push out, dislodging things like cords, and also stretch out the chakra with each breath. When you get to the point where you have expanded your chakra, let's say the heart chakra, to its full diameter, to its full size, and you have this divine light flowing from source just beaming through that chakra, then there's nothing at all for any of these parasitic or fear-based cords to attach to, and they will fall off and dislodge. That's the basic healing technique. So I'm going to just keep saying we're working with the heart chakra, but you can do this technique with any chakra, the throat, the third eye. Main places where you might say draining or parasitic cords attached are at the back of the throat chakra, often at the base of the neck. The heart is a common place. The will center, many people have contracted will centers, and that's one place where sometimes you will find a draining or controlling or parasitic cord in the front of the chakra. But always look in the back of the chakras. These are very common points of attachment, especially for these beings who don't like to be seen. The back of the sacral chakra is a main place. Almost everybody who's been brought up in our society has an abundance amount of fear, shame, and guilt, and repressed emotions in the sacral chakra, which causes a lot of contraction. And there's almost always a lot of room for cords to attach there. That's a really good place to look at. And the thing about using this technique of breathing in the divine light and expand, and on the out breath, pushing out and expanding your chakra. I'm just going to pretend we're working with the heart chakra again. Is that not only does it dislodge cords, but it'll just make you feel better. It's going to open up your whole energy field. It's going to open up the central channel. It'll open up all your chakras so that your daily life is healthier and more functioning. I'm going to go back to the heart chakra now. So let's say we're breathing into the heart chakra. We've done a few breaths, let's say 10 or 15 or 20 breaths. We're expanding the heart chakra out. We're pushing out in the front and the back on each out breath, breathing in divine light, pushing out divine light. And after all these breaths and all this expansion, we're still feeling like, okay, I'm feeling this will tune you in, because you'll feel areas where the divine light is not clearing. Let's say there's something in the back. Say there's something in the back of the heart chakra. And the more you breathe through it, the more you expand the chakra and breathe divine light through it, the more you'll be able to pinpoint, either with your vision, if you're a visual person, or with your kinesthetic feeling, an area. Let's say it's in the back, and I'm just going to say it's in the lower portion of the heart chakra. They're occasionally right in the center of a chakra, but many times they're around the edges somewhere. Then you can feel this place that's not clearing. Well, that's the cord. When you can feel a place that's not clearing, that's the cord. You don't generally need to know who it's attached to, but sometimes that knowledge will just come to you as you tune into the cord. And so as you pinpoint the area, then you can just focus your attention on expanding even more in that area. Let's say it's around the lower rim of the heart chakra. So here I am, I'm breathing in the divine light, I'm expanding my heart chakra to that place, really focusing on expanding and clearing. And just, you can also call for, a powerful cleansing ray to flow through your crown chakra. Really stretch open your crown chakra to receive the highest frequency or highest intensity of light that you're able to receive, and bring that full intensity into your heart chakra and give the full push out the back. Once you've identified that the main point of attachment is in the back, then you can just focus totally on the back and push out there and expand. Eventually, if you just keep this up, and especially once you expand the chakra out to its full diameter, right out to the outer rim, that cord is just going to fall off. It cannot attach to the divine light. And many times people create energetic shields because they're afraid of cords like this attaching to them. And sometimes I've actually seen that the cords will actually be attached to the shield, because a shield is a fear-based structure. It's something we make in response to some feeling of being attacked or afraid. It's an unconscious reaction, and pretty much everybody does it. But that's the second step, is to release structures like that. Sometimes structures like shields will feel as if they'll feel like a cord, because they will have a few places where they're connected or attached to the energy field. One I see quite often is a shield that starts at the base of the neck in the lower throat chakra, and we'll also have points of attachment in the heart and sometimes the will center as well. So, these are your own energy structures. You made them and you can release them. So just keep breathing energy. Just treat them just the same way you would a cord. Just keep expanding the chakras and letting them fall off. One of the greatest understandings for me has been to realize that when you actually open fully to the divine light in your crown chakra, open your chakras fully to let that divine light flow through, that divine light is just like the sun. It burns up everything that's made of fear. Only energies that are in resonance with divine love will exist in that field, in that beam of light, and it actually provides much greater protection than any shield you could possibly erect, which are all fear-based by nature. So you just have to experience that. Just keep bringing the divine light in, using your breath and pushing it out, and eventually you will tangibly experience that it is in fact burning up those things that you were afraid of, that you made the shield to protect yourself from, and that will empower you and make you feel comfortable, like you really can't let go of those shields. One last thing I want to address is persistent cords. So sometimes you'll go through this process, you release the cord. Once you release the cord, and then you keep breathing to release sort of the underlying emotions of fear, shame, or guilt, or self-hatred in some cases, that the cord was attaching to. That's a very important step. If you don't release the underlying emotions, then you still have sort of this area that a cord can attach to. So you have to keep doing that, keep breathing through, and this is often not just a one-time process, something, it's a practice to do every day. Let's say you do all of that, you're in, and then even after you do that, you want to breathe in kind of a more golden ray of healing light to fill up any places where there's been intrusions or breaks or tears in your energy field from the presence of the cord. Let's say you did all that. You cleared the cord, you cleared the emotions, you breathed in this golden divine light to fill up any holes or tears that the cord created, and you definitely want to do that right out to your outer auric field, your outer toroidal field. Make sure all the strands are whole and there's no breaks or tears or disruptions even in the outer auric field. You filled your whole auric field with this divine love. You feel great, and then the next day or a few days later, maybe a week later, you feel the cord is back again. And you keep clearing it keeps coming back. So in a case like this, if it's like a really pernicious or cord that just keeps coming back, sometimes that's a karmic situation and you need to take it one step further. So if there's a being that just keeps connecting with you and you feel empowered to do this, you can trace that cord right back. You can, with the same technique of breathing in the divine love, you can breathe the divine love into the cord. Even if it's a dark, draining cord that they created, you can transform it into a cord of light by sending your energy out through it and expanding that beam of light as you go. And you can connect from your pure soul to the pure soul of this being who is connecting with you, even if this being has no recollection at all that they even have such a thing as a pure soul. It's still there within them. Even if they're showing you a frightful appearance, you can look right through that appearance and find this little spark of a pure soul within them. Once you connect from your pure soul to the pure soul of this being, and every soul does have at least a little spark of a pure soul within them, or else they can't exist. If they don't have one, basically it's some projection of your mind, because anything that exists autonomously has a little spark of a pure soul. Once you connect from your pure soul to its pure soul, you just make this beam of light using the cord that it sent to you, and you just keep breathing in divine light and expanding the diameter of this pure light from your pure soul to its pure soul. When you connect from your pure soul to its pure soul, that's the truth. You're connecting from a true loving place. You're basically going to a higher level than all of the false fear-based forms and perceptions that it's using to try to attach to you and drain your energy. And as you keep expanding the light, you'll see the whole cord that it's made between you will dissolve as you expand that beam of light to a diameter larger than the cord itself. And you can clear that energy right up to, the outer auric field of that being that's attaching to you. That's usually all that's necessary, and then that being probably will not give you any more trouble. They usually flee at that point, honestly. And I'm rarely ever guided to interfere with their energy field. I think it's sufficient usually to just go to the outer edge of their energy field, because that's up to them. That's their path of personal growth. So there's some of my basic cord clearing techniques. Very important to remember after you dislodge a cord, to finish by releasing the underlying emotions and fill up the whole area with divine love. Also, another thing you can do is you can call on assistance. You can call on Jesus or Mother Mary or Archangel Michael or any ascended masters or angels or archangels that you work with. Especially Archangel Michael and Jesus or Yeshua are very helpful with certain parasitic entities. So once you release that entity from your field, you can ask for them to just take it away. Usually that's all that's necessary, is for you to detach it from your own field, and then you can just hand it over to them to take it wherever it needs to go. Okay, so that is, in a few minutes, these are the same cord clearing techniques I use with my clients. If you need any more assistance, feel free to contact me at my website, which is www.saranam.us. That's SARANAM.us. I'm here in service, and I'm happy to help. And many blessings to you.